Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Paramanandamadhavam. Hari Om. Namaskaram. Dhyana sloga. First. Om Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varshishthande Vasatrishiganair Avrutam Brahmanishtai Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandarupam Svaatmaramam Mudidavatanam Dakshinamurti Chitram Vatavitapi Samipe Bhumi Bhage Nishannam Sakalamuni Jananam Jnanadataram Tribhuvana Gurumesham Dakshinamurti Devam Janana Marana Dukkha Chedadaksham Namami Chitram Vatataror Mule Vruddha Shishya Gurur Yuva Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam Shishyastu Chinna Samshaya Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Vishaye Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha Jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Sloka number 1. Together we can chant. Please try. Vishvam Darpanna-Drshyamaana-Nagarii-Tulyam Nija-Antargatam Pashyann-Aatmani Maayayaa Bahir-Ivodbhuutam Yathaa Nidrayaa Saakssaat-Kurute Prabodha-Samaye Svaatmaanam-Eva-Advayam Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Idam Shrii-Dakssinnaamuurtaye. So before we commence, we have one question. I shall read it out because I am discussing it because it may be the doubt or the confusion in many of our minds. The question is, we perceive the world knowing that it is being perceived in and by the mind, and that the mind is in consciousness, which is actually the substratum as well as the one giving the mind the power to operate. The question is the consciousness which enlivens the mind one and all for all beings, or does everyone have a separate consciousness? I know Vedanta says it's one single mass of homogeneous intelligence, but I have to accept it because of scriptural authority. Also, this question will arise only from transactional point of view. If I consider everything to be a product of my mind, I can understand the pervasiveness and oneness of consciousness as through my mind and consciousness, I can reach the farthest end of the universe. The metaphor of wave and sea is good only from worldly point of view, as both sea and wave are substances of this world. However, consciousness and body are not. The only explanation for the body and world is Maya. That is understood. But from transactional point of view, I am not able to understand the concept of one consciousness. Or maybe I should not even try to understand it and dismiss it as unnecessary thought of the mind, which is anyway mithya. No issue, doubts can arise, and if the doubts do arise, please discuss. That's why I said very clearly, you can feel very free to discuss, because all these cobwebs of doubts we should get cleared, and then only we will proceed. Otherwise, there will be so many cobwebs of confusion left behind, and we won't follow what is being said. Always this will be, hankering in our mind. How are you going to resolve this issue? See, the question number one is whether the consciousness is one and the same. And the questioner himself says, yes, the Shastra says it is one and the same. And, by the Shastra's statement alone is not sufficient. It should be our experience too. And there should be proof also. So the Shruti is the Shastra. And Yukti is the logic. And Anubhava is the experience. These three should coalesce in agreement. These three should be in alignment. Then only we can, the thing becomes acceptable. Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. Very good. Here, Shruti says it is one and the same. And what is our experience? What is our experience? Consciousness, it can be only one and the same. But some people mix up consciousness with the thoughts. See, in the psychology books, and if you read, consciousness means it is a mixture of consciousness and thought. We Vedantins, we separate it. How do we separate? See, yesterday we discussed the thoughts should have a substratum to flow on. And where do they flow on? Consciousness. Like waves in the ocean, the waves arise from the waters, they subsist, they exist in the waters, and the waves again merge back into the water. Similarly, the thoughts arise in consciousness and they exist in consciousness and they merge back into consciousness. So the Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, they are also inside our mind also this takes place. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Each thought is created. It exists for a brief while. depending on the attachment, the importance we attach to it. And then it merges back. Where? To consciousness. And the consciousness, this is our experience. So logically, experience is this. And then logically also, the consciousness is the water cannot be different. The waves will be different. And the waters also can be in many buckets. 1,000 buckets will be there. 1,000,000 buckets will be there. Each one filled with water. And the sun reflects. Another example. In the meridian sun, that is the midday, what happens? All the 1,000 buckets filled with water, everywhere reflection will be there. If it is a sunny day, if it's a cloudy day like today, it won't. In Kerala, it is cloudy today for the last few days. Okay, now this is the thing. And here, the example is also, the validity of the example is also questioned. That's good. You know, in illustrating a point, an upama means a simile, can be used. A metaphor can be used. So in an upama, for example, upama means simile. I hope you understand upama. Not upma. So upama Kalidasa. Kalidasa, in employing upama, similes, nobody has excelled Kalidasa, it seems, the great poet. Okay. In upama, there is a drishtanta. There is a drishtanta means an example. And there is what they call in grammar, darshtanta. So drishtanta and darshtanta. Drishtanta is the example. Okay. And darshtanta is what is intended to be illustrated. Please get the point. What is intended to be illustrated. Here the example is, for example, the sun and the buckets of water. See, equipments are different. And the sun is one. The consciousness is one. The consciousness is one. Or in the ocean example, the ocean is one. The waves are many. In the multitude of waves, what is the content? The wave, the content of a thought. Content means substance. So a thought is also nothing but consciousness. But it has a particular, a thought has a particular individuality. This pen thought is not a pencil thought. So that way it differs, but consciousness is the basis. So we have to learn to segregate these two, the thoughts from the consciousness. The consciousness is the basis, the substratum. Then again the question, then consciousness is a bodha, then that is chit. How about sat? Sat means what? Pure existence. We said the other day, Sat means the pure existence, means a thing minus its name and form. I showed you the paperweight also, remember? A thing minus its name and form, that is pure Sat, existence. Astitvam, asti, 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 astitvam. Okay. Now, consciousness, asti or not? Consciousness is. Is it not true? Remember. So, that is where Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. These are all logic. So, our experience, so your consciousness, my consciousness, or the consciousness of somebody in the United States, or in Pakistan, or in China, or South Africa, consciousness is one and the same thing. But don't please mix it up with the thoughts. Consciousness is everywhere. And we said yesterday, the basis of, what is the basis of creation? According to Einstein, the very fundamental things, space and time, is it not? The Einsteinian world of space and time. And without consciousness, is there space, is there time? Swamiji, this we can't understand. Yeah, you can understand. You think that you can. Why? How do you say we can understand? Yes, because yesterday we said, you are not ordinary person. You are extraordinary people. How? Because you are able to dismiss the whole time and space, and you are doing it every day. Sometimes, especially night, I wouldn't say day. Day you may not be sleeping, some of you, but at night each one of you is sleeping, are you not? When you sleep, what do? You dismiss the time and space. Einsteinian world is gone. The very basis, very content of the Einsteinian world is time and space, the world in which we live. Akasha. Akasha is not the canopy seen above, but the space. The very definition of space is, that is Akasha is Avakashatvat Akasha. Avakasha means that which gives room for everything else to exist. We don't see Akasha, but we infer there is Akasha. Where is Akasha? Without Akasha, other things cannot exist. Okay, so my point is, there is one example. In that example, there is Drishtanda. That Drishtanda, the example that we use to illustrate a point, and Darshtanda is what is intended to be illustrated. So, Drishtanda and Darshtanda cannot be equated 100%. For that, I will give another example to make that simpler, clear. Somebody praises a king. Oh king, your face is like moon. Your face is like moon. Mean your face, you are so handsome. Oh king, you are so handsome. That is the point. And you can't extend it further. See, Drishtanda's role is over. And you can't extend it further. See, Swamiji, this moon means it is so rocky and is so rugged. And do you mean that king's face is full of rocky look and ruggedness? That is not what is. There is a particular aspect which is highlighted and which is employed, which is utilized to illustrate. So, the Drishtanda and Darshtanda, these are all technical terms, grammatically technical terms. Drishtanda, in Sahitya it is Drishtanda and Darshtanda. Drishtanda is the example. Darshtanda is what is intended to be illustrated. Here the consciousness. Consciousness is intended to be illustrated, and Drishtanda is the sea, or the sun reflected in the buckets of so many buckets of water. All right, I hope this point is clear. So we have to, we have to think more and more about it. First of all, or in the first place, we have to separate it, what the consciousness from the thoughts. That is what we are doing in the process of meditation. Please understand. The process of meditation, what are we doing? Through the other day I told you about the Japa Yoga, What does it do? Japa is a great method, abhyas, exercise, practice. Through Japa, we are thinning out the thought flow in the mind. when the mind's thought flow is thinned out, slowly what happens? The consciousness manifests more and more and more and more. That is why when you do japa intensely, successfully, without distraction, what happens? There's a peace in our mind, the peace welling up. We experience peace, joy, happiness, not because of any external factors, but inside us, we experience that joy, that peace that passeth all understanding, as it is said, because the thought flow is reduced. This is why japa is very important. All sadhaks should take recourse to japa, because the control, the regulation of the mind is very, very important. Then only, with the clarity we can appreciate things. Okay, I hope this point is clear. Okay, and this the only explanation for the bodies and the world is Maya. Shastra is Maya, but then Maya is to be understood. It is not that there is no other way to escape. So the masters or the scriptures say, okay, this is all because of Maya. In the coming shloka also, the Maya is explained in more detail. We will come to that. Okay, so now I hope this doubt is clear. If it is not clear, please ask again. No issue, no problem. Don't think that I'm troubling Swami, nothing of the sort. Okay, this is our job. When we are taking up a thing, so clarify as best as we can. I wouldn't claim that I am able to clarify all your doubts. Please no. To the extent possible, as far as I can, I am sharing with you. What I have studied at the feet of my master. Okay. Now, Vishvam Darpanna-Drshyamaana-Nagarii-Tulyam Nija-Antargatam Pashyann-Aatmani Maayaa Bahir-Ivodbhuutam Yathaa Nidrayaa Saakssaat-Kurute Prabodha-Samaye Svaatmaanam-Eva-Advayam Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Namayidam Shrii-Dakssinnaamuurtaye. So that Dakshinamurti, I offer my salutations. Who is that? Yaha Saakssaat-Kurute Prabodha-Samaye. So he is the one who has awakened to the truth. And which truth? What truth? What is its nature? Advayam. That Advaya Satyam, that Advaya Atma Paramatma, he has realized. And afterwards what happened? And he sees the whole world within himself. Pashyann-Aatmani Maayaa Bahir-Ivodbhuutam. So you and I, what do we do? Where do we see the world? We don't see the world inside. We see the world outside. Is it not true? We see because that is the reality, the world of transaction. It has a Vyavaharika Satta. The transaction reality is there. And if you tell anyone, a new person, oh, no, the world is all inside you, she won't accept. The world is, you are crazy, you are going crazy. The world is inside. What inside? It is outside very much. Don't you live in this world? So please understand. But then one who is awakened to the truth, how will be his perception? Like when we analyze our own dream. Please understand. Like when we analyze our own dream. What about the dream? You know, when we dream, do we realize that this dream is taking place inside my mind? No. As long as we dream, that is an external experience, is it not? We are sleeping in our bed, and then we are dreaming, and while dreaming, it is an experience for us. The whole world is there. My friends are there, my enemies are there, or the world with everything is there. I see in the dream. And then on waking up, please note, on waking up, what do we say? Hey, I was happily sleeping, soundly sleeping. Soundly sleeping means not snoring away, not producing sound. Soundly sleep, sound sleep. Okay, and then the dream happened. It's actually sound sleep. The dream doesn't take place. When the sound sleep gets disturbed, the dream takes place. Okay, then when we wake up, we realize, hey, everything happened within my mind only. Is it not true? On waking up, we realize that it all happened within me, within my mind. I never got out of my room. I never got out of my bed. So this realization we get on waking up. Similarly, the one who has woken up to the truth, he realizes that it was all inside me. The example we have seen, Vishvam Darpanna-Drshyamaana-Nagarii-Tulyam. This whole world is like, from the 7th floor balcony, or one who is living in a city, the whole city is seen on the other side, and you held a mirror against it, and you saw what? The whole city, a big part of it is reflected in the mirror. That is inside the mirror. But really, what you see is inside the mirror. So similarly, in the consciousness, in its vastness, in its expansiveness, in its totality, the whole world gets projected. That is the point driven home. We have to slowly raise ourselves to this understanding, this appreciation of the meaning. Vishvam Darpanna-Drshyamaana-Nagarii-Tulyam Nija-Antargatam. So the consciousness is one and the same. And Swami, there are so many people thinking differently. Yeah, people have to think differently only. Yeah? We are not cloned. People have to think differently. That will continue to happen. Why? Because of the equipments. What are these equipments? Our body, mind, intellect. Yesterday we have seen the manifestation of consciousness differs in degrees in different people. Among humanity also, among humans also. See, your consciousness may be more expanded than mine. That depends upon our sadhana, our knowledge, our understanding, our appreciation. A child's consciousness is very limited. A baby's consciousness is very limited. Means what? Its mind is in its elementary stage. The equipment. But consciousness by itself is one and the same. It is total. It has no limitations absolutely. Another example, the reflection. What we experience is the reflection. An object is reflected everywhere, but depending upon the surface, the reflection changes. A mirror is there, a mirror is very smooth, and there the reflection, even on the wall, according to scientific theory, science says that reflection can be on the wall also, but I don't see any reflection. If you stand in front of a wall, I don't find my reflection there. But then you smoothen the surface of the wall, you will have the reflection. That is a difference. So depending upon the medium, the reflection takes place. And the personality and all, everything depends upon the medium. The three media, what are they? The body, the mind, the intellect. Sharpen the mind, sharpen the intellect, the consciousness manifestation will be more. And you thin out or thin down the thought flow, then again the consciousness, experience of pure consciousness will be more, where we come to experience joy, happiness, and all that. Okay. So I salute the Dakshinamurti who, on waking up to the truth, sees the whole world like a whole city is reflected in a mirror within himself, within that consciousness. When I wake up to that consciousness, which the Shastras speak about, that the whole world is in me, and it is not a theoretical understanding alone. Theoretically, of course, we have to understand first. After theoretical understanding, then, as we said the other day, it should percolate. I should own up that knowledge. Then only I will start experiencing it. For this, they advised, bhava-dvaita. First, you appreciate that this is how it is. Swamiji, everything is Brahman, everything is consciousness, everything is contained in the consciousness. Yes, everything is Sat. Even the Jada Prapancha, the inert world, is also actually Sat. But there is no consciousness there. In the stone, there is no consciousness. In the earth, there is no consciousness. In the trees, plant kingdom, there is very, very minuscule manifestation of consciousness. That is what J.C. Bose has said, You go near a plant, you love it, not artificial loving. You love the plant, you tend it, you speak nice words. These experiments have been conducted. You stand near a plant and abuse it left and right with rudeness, its growth will be stunted. On the other hand, you tend it affectionately, you give, take care of it, the responsibility is different. Because in our Hindu Dharma, in our Shastras, all these things are living. In ancient times, even these days, people used to cut the trees for their household use after taking permission from the trees. I have to cut you and I will plant another 10 trees. When I cut one tree, I will plant another 10. See, the modern people, the modern civilization doesn't have to teach Indians what the environmental friendliness is. We have always been, our tradition, our scriptures, they have been instructing us, they have been giving us message of environmental friendliness. We have to live in harmony with them. The samarasya, samarasta, living in harmony with the nature is a part of our tradition. Okay, so, but then the equipments are different. And among animals also, some are intelligent animals, some are less intelligent, some are very dull. Animals like dogs and all, you can train. You can train them to do whatever you want them to do. These are all possibilities. But these are all depending upon the equipment, the instruments, the body, mind, intellect. Please understand. Okay. So I think this explanation would suffice for the first sloka. And then about creation. About creation, more is coming in the next sloka. Sloka number 2. Let us read that. Please follow me. I will break. First, I will do one thing. I will break the words. While breaking the words, please closely follow me so that when you are chanting, it will come easier to you. Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro Jagadidam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam Maayaavi-Iva Vijrmbhayaty Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Yathaa Svecchayaa Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Idam Shrii-Dakशिनामुurtaye. We shall recite the sloka. Please try to follow me. Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro Jagadidam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah. Once again. Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro Jagadidam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam Maayavi-Iva Vijrmbhayaty Maayavi-Iva Vijrmbhayaty Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Svecchayaa Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Svecchayaa Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Idam Shrii-Dakशिनामुurtaye. Please try, can you chant together? I hope the first sloka you are now comfortable with. The second, so all these slokas, because Sanskrit is such a nice, lovely language. You may not know. Some of you may be knowing, I don't know. But those who know will confirm it, vouch for it. It's a wonderful language. And Sanskritam, Sanskritam means what? Well done. Means it's a refined language. Sanskritam is the mother of all languages. In fact, not only Indian, even some other countries also, their languages, the origin is traced to Sanskrit. There are so many words, including English, like father, pitru, mother, matru, brother, bhratru. So there are so many words. They, T-H-E-Y, they, Sanskrit, they. So there are ever so many words akin to it or similar to it. So Sanskrit learning itself is a wonderful thing. And age is no bar. These days there are so many online classes or offline classes, even to get Sanskrit knowledge. Learn Sanskrit even at the age of 90. Somebody was learning Sanskrit at the age of 90. So age is no bar for that. Okay. Please chant along with me together, not repeating. Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro Jagadidam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam Maayaavi-Iva Vijrmbhayaty Maayaavi-Iva Vijrmbhayaty-Api Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Svecchayaa Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Idam Shrii-Dakशिनामूर्तये. I shall put the words in the prose order. Idam Jagad Praangga-Nirvikalpam Biijasya-Antar-Iva Punah Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam Maayaavi-Iva Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Yathaa Svecchayaa Vijrmbhayaty Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Idam Shrii-Dakशिनaaमुurtaye. So the creation is very interesting. What is it? Biijasya-Antar-Iva Praangga-Nirvikalpam. This word Praangga-Nirvikalpam, in the beginning, before the creation started, how was it? Idam Jagad, this world, how was it? Praangga-Nirvikalpam means in the very beginning. Biijasya-Antar-Iva. In a seed, there is that sprout, which is lying dormant, latent, unsprouted in a seed. Any seed for that matter. You might have seen, this, some of you in Kolkata, there is a botanical garden. And how many acres it spreads over? So many acres. The tree, the main tree is one, but over centuries, it has spread over acres and acres of land. But origin was in one small seed. A big banyan tree we are talking about. That is what he said. Biijasya-Antar-Iva. Iva. So in the beginning, creation was like that. So please don't imagine that the whole thing was in a small thing. It is said, again, it is an example. It is an upama. The upamanam is what you call a bija here, seed. Biijasya Angurya Jagadidam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah. Oh, then from out of that tiny, small, very small, minuscule seed, how did this world emerge out, became so vast? Today the world, the world that we live in, the prapancha, is the cosmos. How many cosmos are there? There are so many. According to modern science, it is not only one prapancha, there are so many galaxies. All these things were in a very, very seed form. Seed form means, please don't go by this side. It was in the most subtle manner. Subtle, I hope you understand. No? Subtle. Subtle, the subtlety of a thing. For example, the water is gross in comparison with vapor. Vapor is subtler than water. But ice is grosser than water. Water is subtler than ice. You understand? So, the subtler a thing, the more pervasive it will be. Pervasive means vyapitva. A subtle thing will be, its vyapti will be more. Okay. The seed here we have to understand in the very subtle form. Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro Jagad-Idam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam. In a Vichitra way, in a strange manner, things emerge, like the strange manner in which from a small tiny seed, a huge tree later develops into. Don't we see it? It's a fact. Is it not? There is Vichitrata in it. There is a kind of miracle-like thing. From such a tiny seed, the big tree has come in due course. That is Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam. And how does it come? Maayaa-Kalpita. This is where the operation of Maya takes place. Maayaa-Kalpita. This Kalpana, this thing comes, this projection comes, how? Because of Maya. And first, what does, or what is the emerging things in the very first place? Desha-Kala. First, that space and time, they are both relative to each other. Desha-Kala-Kalanaa, the creation of time and space. Please understand, for you to understand the earlier topic, that is, consciousness is everything. In consciousness, the entire world is, take this example, the whole world is in time and space, is it not? Am I speaking very, illogical thing, irrational thing? The whole world is in space and it is bound by time also, time, space. Okay. And this time and space, you are containing yourself in your mind. And mind is in consciousness. Just think, very, very logical. Only thing is, the subtlety has to be understood, for which our mind has to be rendered subtle. Subtle means sukshmata. A gross mind, a sthula mind can't appreciate this thing. A sukshma mind and a sthula mind, this a mother is crying, mother is weeping, let us say. And son, who is very sensitive, would appreciate mother's tears. But a son who is not sensitive, who is egoistic, who has so many negative thoughts against the mother, for many reasons, his own reasons, the tears have no value. But a subtle mind, a sensitive mind, who understands, who can understand and appreciate the mother's tears, definitely the son would do everything to make the mother happy and remove her fears or anxieties or worries. Here, but a sthula mind, a son with a sthula mind means a gross mind, very uncouth, very insensitive, very gross mind, will not respond to it. Let her cry. That is in character with her. Okay. The sensitivity is required to understand and appreciate Vedanta also. Meaning a subtle mind. So we have to render our minds subtle. The sadhanas are to be done in this direction. Or sadhanas are, when we do sadhanas, Vedantic sadhanas, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, this mind will be rendered settled. Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa, this is the operation of Maya. Yesterday we shared with you the example of Bhagavan Krishna teaching Narada what Maya is. See, please think over that example. Bhagavan himself, just without explaining much, demonstrates to Narada what Maya is. The time, the concept of time, space, everything goes fast. Okay. Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa, Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam. See, this creation or the growth and development of a tree. Why go to tree? Why you and I? You and I, our physical body, Praangga-Nirvikalpam. Praangga-Nirvikalpam, how was it? In the single sperm of our father's parent, right? That sperm contained everything that we are today. Our body, everything. That which that sperm you can't see with your fleshy eyes. That tiny little atomic thing, sperm, all this body contains. Body, mind, intellect, everything it contains. And now I am what I am. See, so what a striking example is it? Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro. We have to think over. Think. Meditate. That is, think deeply. Okay, then things will unfold. Okay. Biijasya-Antar-Iva-Angkuro Jagadidam Praangga-Nirvikalpam Punah. Maayaa-Kalpita-Desha-Kaala-Kalanaa, Vaicitrya-Citrii-Krtam. Now, how Paramatma does it? This whole creation is triggered by Paramatma only. The consciousness, Sat-Chit Anand. Consciousness is not Jada, Consciousness is not Jada. Only the Charvakas say, there is a system of philosophy. Charvaka. Charvaka is the Epicureans or materialists, pure materialists, Charvakas. They don't believe in consciousness and all that. And about life, if we just talk to them, they would say, life, that is a mixture of so many things. And life just comes into being. Anyway, we don't have time to discuss Charvaka. It's a philosophy, Charvaka. In ancient times also, it's not only that these days there are atheists. Charvakas, pure materialists, pure Epicureans, there were earlier also. In Ramayana, there is a reference to it. A group, a delegation headed by Bharata, meeting Sri Rama in Chitrakoot, and Bharata appealing to Sri Rama to return and take over the kingdom. But Rama wouldn't yield. Finally, there is one Jabala. Jabala, he was a pure materialist. So in Bharata's troop, delegation, he was also there. He started arguing with Rama. Hey, what you are talking about dharma? What dharma? Might is right. And here is a chance. Jump for it. Don't think about dharma. These are all nonsense. Who says? This Jabali says. And then Rama got so annoyed. When he went on and on, he started haranguing. Went on and on and on. Then Rama had to say, you shut up, you keep quiet, don't advise me anymore. Point is, In Bharata's relation, there used to be a materialist also. They were also accommodated. It is not that we shunned them and all. No. Everybody has the right. Okay. Now, Maayaa-Iva Vijrmbhayaty Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Svecchayaa. 2 examples. Maayaa-Iva, like a magician. See, magician is also does some sort of creation, A professional, a top-class magician can create so many things. A war field, aeroplanes, flying, so many things he can create. And you will sit mesmerized by it. And where does he create all this from? From nowhere. Maayaa-Iva Vijrmbhayaty Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Svecchayaa. From Svecchayaa, from his own mind. He throws a spell over you. He casts the spell and you are under the spell. Similarly, this Maya spell is cast by Bhagavan and we are all under that. This is not cock and bull stories. Think about it. Maayaa-Iva Vijrmbhayaty, and this whole world is projected. Vijrmbhayaty, it is proliferated, it is multiplied, it is pluralized, it is projected. A Maayaavi-Iva Svecchayaa. In Upanishads also it is said, so kamayata bahusyam prajayeti. We are going to all these things. Now, we are also the creators or Brahmajis of our own world. Is it not true? We also create our own world. Do you deny that? No, you can't deny. Every morning when you wake up, till you wake up, you are in deep sleep, you have dismissed the whole world. And in the morning, you create your own world. The person who went to bed last night, the same person comes back this morning. His thoughts, his emotions, everything same. You have your own world. Anyway, more of it we will see in our next session at 11:30. Maayaa-Iva Vijrmbhayaty-Api Mahaa-Yogi-Iva Svecchayaa. Tasmai Shrii-Guru-Muurtaye Idam Shrii-Dakksinnaamuurtaye. These slokas are very, very interesting. If you think about it, after understanding its sense, its spirit, its meaning, its implications, in the context or in the light of Vedantic wisdom, Vedantic knowledge, if you start thinking about this sloka, the meaning of it, you enjoy. And I would appeal to all of you that you should learn to enjoy the sense, the content of the sloka. Okay, till next class, let us part. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva-Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.